Hello everyone. Hello, dear colleagues. Welcome to our joint event, Open Central Asia Regional Interest Community and STEP Azerbaijan. This is going to be a great virtual joint event. So we are going to start, and I would like to say some words. My name is Yerkin Abdurrahimov. I am one of the community leaders on the Regional Interest Community. So the regional community was launched last year as part of the main Open COP. So we are organizing webinars, interviewing our open alumni, sharing teaching tips and video tips. And we do the virtual joint events like we are doing today. So thank you. Elvira, would you like to say some words?
Yeah, of course. It's pleased to see all of you here. Yerkin, thank you for this opportunity. As one of the member of the STEP, I would like to briefly state what STEP means. STEP is an educational initiative dedicated to empowering teachers and youth across our country, especially in rural and underserved areas. Our mission is to bridge the gap between local talent and global standards through inclusive and innovative education. And now I would like go to straight to why we are here today. Erkin, please represent your
Yes, thank you. Thank you. So,
member.
yes, let me introduce our speaker. Welcome to the regional interest community. So welcome to Open Central Asia Regional Interest Community and a STEP Azerbaijan joint event. This is our first virtual event with STEP Azerbaijan and the Open Central Asia. So let me introduce our speaker, Bahar Bahbidova from Turkmenistan. Bahar is a highly experienced English language educator and specialist with a master's degree in education management and more than a decade of professional practice in teaching English, mentoring teachers, and developing curricula. She's an alumni of the Open 2022 TESOL methodology course, which strengthened her expertise in modern English language teaching approaches and global best practices. Bahar is also a proud Fulbright T alumna, a distinction that provided her with advanced professional development, international exposure, and the leadership training experiences that continue to shape her work as an educator and researcher. Throughout her career, she has successfully integrated project-based learning and active learning strategies to enhance students' communicative competence. She has led teacher training workshops, mentored students for academic competitions and presentations, and created innovative teaching resources, including a multilingual dictionary approved by the Minister of Education. Her academic contributions are equally impressive. Bahar has co-authored and presented research on academic writing instruction, grammar in language teaching, teacher training, and the integration of instructional technology to enhance teacher performance. She has shared her work at international conferences across Europe, Asia, and the United States, including a 2024 presentation at a major foreign language conference in North Carolina. Her scholarship has been recognized with a second place award in the International Young Scholar Research Contest at Ulyanovsk State University, Russia 22, underscoring the commitment to impactful practice-based research. Welcome, Bahar.
Thank you once again. Okay, so hello everyone. I'm really glad to be in this event today. So can I start now sharing my screen and presentation?
Yes, sure, you can.
Okay. Just a minute, please. Can you see?
Yes, yes, we can see the screen.
Okay. So thanks for detailed instruction. Yes, it's just a short overview of my experience. And thank you, Jurgen, for detailed instructions. This is all my conferences and publications that I've been engaged so far. So, and our topic is universal design of learning. And agenda is universal design of instruction and learning principles, pillars, strategies. And at the end of the presentation, I will share the practical activities that can be done with our students in our classrooms. So first of all, I'm really, as I said before, really glad to see everyone, and just I'd be really glad if a couple of you introduce yourself, like your name and a challenge related to accessibility in your learning. Okay. Is anyone volunteer?
Yes, please, dear participants, you can share your responses in the chat box. So one challenge related to accessibility in your learning. Yeah, if you want to raise your virtual hand and speak up, please feel free.
Okay. So, okay, so first of all, let me share my challenge that I had, let's say, tactile learner. So if the instruction was only audio or only visual, and if I didn't have activities that are focused on tactile learning, so I had that kind of challenge, like it really hindered my understanding of specific topic when I learned. So is here any volunteer, or should I continue?
Yeah, they say time.
Time.
Yeah,
Yes.
Elvira says time.
Yes, yes. Okay. Yes, now I see.
Yeah,
So,
I would like to add also time, because in my context in Kazakhstan, I think that like a 45 minutes can be a challenge to
yes.
access the learning of.
Yes, sure. Definitely. Classroom management, time management, different mixed level. Yes, you are all right. So first of all, what is UDI? Universal Design of Instruction. Actually, this is these methods approach that I learned when I was in the premises of Fulbright program in 2024 in the US. So I really liked this approach, and that's why I just wanted to share with our community. So the design of instruction to be usable by all students without the need for adaptation or specialized design. And this is universal design of instruction and principles: equitable use, flexibility in use, not just fixed. The curriculum and all materials, they need to be flexible according to the learner's needs. Then simple and intuitive, perceptible information, and tolerance for error. Unfortunately, sometimes in some context or in some places or classrooms, the error is not, like, there is no tolerance, and students just get disengaged or demotivated with that. So as you can see on the screen, equality, this is sameness, this is equality, but equity, it is fairness. So we need to ensure that equity before we can enjoy quality. So according to the needs of the students, we need to adapt. And universal design of learning just ensures that, and its roots from the design of the um, buildings, which actually it comes from 1970s North Carolinian State University students. They just started this idea, and later it was adapted to education. And as you can see, the stairs, for example, even the infrastructure of the buildings, sometimes actually they are not adapted to according to the different needs of the people. So the educational classroom experiences are also, unfortunately, sometimes designed a bit poorly. So universal design of instruction and learning ensures that all students have the same equity. And actually, this is also a photo that I took myself in the campus of our university where I was in the Fulbright that I really liked. And that it gives the opportunity without any problem challenges to get into the bus. Very simple thing. Already some Central Asian countries, they are practicing it. We also started to get it. But yes, sometimes not everywhere we can see. So learning universal design, UDL, is an approach to teaching and learning that gives all students equal opportunity, as we said before. And why? Why UDL? To meet the needs of all students in an inclusive classroom. Students, they are vastly diverse in what they learn, in how they learn, which means how they process, how they digest the information, the new knowledge, and why they learn, what interests and motivates them. So, and classrooms, they are really filled with diverse, various types of students, which have different needs, come from different educational backgrounds. Again, attention span and interests, especially if we talk about Generation Alpha, their attention span is a bit shorter in comparison with previous generations due to this technological exposure, extensive technological exposure, swiping on the internet, surfing on the internet with a lot of with bunch of short videos. They have different language abilities and have different cultural backgrounds. So the classrooms, the 21st century classrooms, they need to adapt and integrate all of these needs equitably. And principles of UDL, it is providing multiple means of engagement, and it comes from the curricula. Again, multiple means of representation. It is how we present the new instruction or materials or resources. And the third one, provide multiple means of action and expression. So there is also another fourth principle that UDL wants to integrate, but officially it hasn't been included yet. It is multiple means of assessment. Unfortunately, standardized tests, or again, I think even in my country, we have a kind of standard, let's say, exam that all students need to get at the end of the school year, academic year, but how much it is rational according to diverse backgrounds and ability of students, sometimes it just leaves a question. But as the teachers, we can just adapt it, or we can at least try to make some change in our daily lessons. So during the presentation, we will just learn about it. So multiple means of engagement, it is integrating using different ways of engaging our students. This is why of learning, how we make instruction relevant and how we motivate students. And students actually, what I have witnessed in my context, that most of the time students, they don't know why they learn specific context or knowledge or a topic. So making them familiar why they are learning this specific topic or that new knowledge, actually, it is also very important, and they see the reason at the end. So explaining them the objective and the reason of learning, that actually makes them more aware of what they are doing. So the feelings, values, or emotions that can influence attitudes toward learning. And the second one is multiple means of engagement. Here, I would like to ask you, think about your own learning. What makes you engaged? Is there anyone
Yeah,
who just
that,
can open the voice and just speak
yeah,
up?
yeah. Thank you, Bahar. That's a great.
Let's make it more integrated rather than just lecture-based.
Yeah, yeah. Please share your responses in the chat box, or you can raise your virtual hand to speak up. The Naza says motivation.
So motivation, this is a really broad idea. Yeah. So how you feel motivated? What makes you feel motivated? That's the question. So where do you get that motivation? As we know, we have intrinsic motivation and extrinsic. Peer works, group works, you make you feel engaged. Very good. Tahmina, thank you for your answer. Okay.
I really beg your pardon. I couldn't find a virtual hand. So from the
Okay.
perspective of learner, I guess, yeah, as a learner, I think what engagement, like as you said, I'm a visual learner, so
Yeah.
I should have something visual to attract my attention, let's say.
Okay, definitely.
Yeah,
Absolutely, I agree with that.
some
Thanks
positive,
for sharing. So project-based works inspired eyes of students. Just okay, yes, thanks for your answers. So
thank you, dear.
if again, for me, relatedness is more important. If I feel myself like, let's say, if I imagine myself in the context of, in the place of the learner as a student, then relatedness of specific topic is more important for me. Okay. So, and what makes us feel bored? For example, I feel bored when the teacher only speaks, and if the teacher doesn't involve me into the process of learning. What about others?
Yeah, yes. So what makes you bored, dear participants?
Wow, very good answer. There is intellectual depth, strategic thinking, real world impact. So, Murad, thanks for your sharing your ideas. Okay. So again, if we are not engaged, if the resource is not related with our own goals or needs, or is not related or doesn't match our abilities, then of course we feel bored. The same happens with the students also. Okay.
Tahmina says she doesn't get when she doesn't get the main idea of the topic.
Yes, and in order to get that main idea of the topic, the students, or we also including, so we need to make familiar our students with the objectives, plus what is at the end of the lesson, what kind of ability or skill will they gain from that? Okay. So thanks all for sharing your ideas, experiences.
Yeah, we really have some good responses here in the chat box. Thank you so much, dear participants.
Yes. Multiple means of representation. So we said engagement, and engagement mainly it involves curriculum. But means of representation, it is what of learning. Actually, this is how we are teaching the information. And yes, I agree that curriculum sometimes it is prepared by Ministry of Education, or so different kinds of factors can influence, and sometimes it doesn't rely on us. So we do not prepare. We might not prepare as the teachers, but how we teach the information, it depends on us. So the way we present information to students, actually, we decide that. So presenting content information in multiple ways, and actually, according to the abilities and skills of our students, makes them feel engaged. So not only using visual, as we said, not only audio. So integrating to explain one specific topic, different kinds of various styles, actually, this is the main aim of UDL. So copies of class materials, caption videos, they are really important. And PowerPoint also, even while we are speaking, it has its function that we can just turn on. And when we are speaking, if we have the students who have impairments in hearing, so they can see the captions actually with the help of that PowerPoint while we're speaking. Pre-teaching vocabulary, activating background knowledge is also important, and different kinds of visuals, charts, so hands-on activities. And multiple means of action and expression. This is how of learning. Okay, we introduced different kinds of our topic in various types. And after that one actually, the previous one, multiple means of representation, this is input. This is input knowledge. But here, action, multiple means of action or expression, this is output. When our students start to produce. This is how of learning, how students demonstrate learning. So it is actually the stage where we start to assess and to evaluate how well they could get the information and how well they can produce it. So the main goal here, providing students with the opportunity to demonstrate concept mastery in multiple ways, not in only one way. For example, if we are learning, let's say, let's say the topic is healthy lifestyle, one student might write an essay about it because he or she is more comfortable with writing. Another student can make a presentation. So making presentation are demanding from them, or demanding from all of them writing essays. Sometimes it is not a bit rational according to inclusive education's strategies. So according to UDL also. So providing the students with multiple means, with multiple ways of tasks, assignments, makes them feel more comfortable. And by the time they can also see, they gain confidence, and they can continue with different kinds of abilities. I don't mean here that we need the student who doesn't like writing, we should never assign them writing tasks. No, it doesn't mean that. But we need to, first of all, integrate the ways. So we need to represent the ways, the methods, in various contexts, in various assignments, with various explanation. And if the student sees, oh, I'm comfortable with writing, which is tactile. Oh, I'm comfortable with speaking. So, or with visual, whatever, then they find the tasks, the way that works for them. And when they start to do that, and when they see, oh, they can do well and they can learn, they gain some confidence. And by the time, they can also continue with other types of learning. So 4 pillars, this is creating clear learning goals, decisions, approach, procedures. And actually, there is no any kind of something that works really in a best way. We need to integrate all of them. Like for 5-10 minutes during the lesson, like explanation, this is a bit like lecture based. For like when we have a new topic, we need to explain at least. So if we talk about 45 minutes of instruction, then collaborative learning, small group instruction, individual seat work, one-to-one instruction, hands-on activities. So if we integrate in a clear, organized way in our lessons with clear objective, then we can reach to our main goal. And projects or presentations, research papers, term papers, group projects, presentations, then drawing, oral reading, and assessment in UDL. UDL actually doesn't support any kind of the same assessment method. So for a fair selection, everybody has to take the same exam. So please climb that tree. So as you see on the picture also, the student, it's a kind of irony here. We have different various students, as we all know, and assessing them in a similar way, it is not rational, as we said before. So two types of assessment, as we all know, formative, which informs the instruction, and this is ongoing, and summary of student performance at the end of the term or academic year. So formative, actually, it is the one that we can do ourselves. It's ongoing, and it can be in a different kinds of ways. So UDL actually more integrated with formative assessment. And effective assessments, they are ongoing, not summative, formative, ongoing one, focus on learner progress rather than the final mark. Then measures product and process, flexible, not fixed. So this is really important, flexibility, and it supports instructional improvement. So actually, everybody is a genius, but if we judge a fish by its ability to climb a tree, it will live its whole life believing that it's stupid. So we need to realize that all people, every student, they have their own way of learning. And if we provide that, actually, we can just make our classrooms more engaged, and we can provide positive atmosphere. And barriers and goals, this is effective goal. This is distinguishing what you are doing from why we are doing. What we are doing, we need to ask ourselves, and why we are doing it. So, and here the brain-based research actually says that students come to the classroom with preconceptions about how the world works. If their initial understanding is not engaged, if their very first experience, if they are disengaged, they may fail to grasp the new concepts and information they are taught. So at the very beginning of their experience of learning something, if they feel disengaged and they lose their motivation, they become demotivated. If they become demotivated, they lose their interest. So they just fail in that specific lesson. So UDL networks, as we said, engagement. Okay, this is why of learning. This is why of learning this part. Representation. Actually, this is what of learning, recognition network, this purple part of the brain, and strategic network, this is how of learning, action and expression. This part is responsible for output. And this is the front lobe of our brain at the same time. And as Cleaver outlined, full citizenship, global citizenship in the classroom, providing this is really important. A belief in one's ability to think. As teachers, we need to believe in that. A belief in one's individuality, a belief in the reciprocity of the relationship, like this is mutual relationship, a shared social place can provide a full citizenship or global citizenship in the classroom, and no one will be left behind. So if we say that we don't have resources for a universal design for learning specialists, like if we say that, actually we are already a UDL specialist. UDL or other theories, they are not areas of advanced programs. It just actually proposes the idea that we need to provide, we need to follow those three principles. And according to three principles, we need to provide our students with various types of instruction, with various types of assignments when they when they demonstrate their output, how well they know. And again, we need to assess in a various way. So, oops. Doesn't this mean that some students will have an unfair advantage? So if you see here, equality, this is everyone receives the same support regardless of need. But this is equality. Accommodation, actually adapting according to the needs. So individuals given different support, accommodation to enable access. This is equity. accessibility. This is inclusion. This part is really important, making accessible. So no need for support. If we use this accommodation part like equity, by the time students, they become like we can provide that inclusivity. No need for support. They can just be aware of their strengths, weaknesses, and they can start to be independent, autonomous in learning also. So I cannot do universal design for learning because my job uses a curriculum with scripted lessons. If we say that, I also had a kind of idea when we had during that Fulbright C program when our professor at university presented when we had this lecture. But actually later, I found out that it fully relies on me. Customizing delivery. Curriculum outlines what to teach, UDL how to teach. So if the curriculum involves reading a story, UDL allows providing the text in audio format using visual supports. Then, for example, if we have reading text, before reading activities, like we can just make a brainstorm, or we can check their before reading the text, we can check their background knowledge about specific topic of that reading text. Then again, vocabulary knowledge, checking that. So with that, we just engage and students become interested. Wow, so what about is that? And they get some idea before starting read. Then we have reading activity, we read it, but reading also can be done in different ways. In a group reading we can apply. And we have also after reading activities. One after reading activity, it is students work in groups and they summarize and they have different positions within a group, or we can provide at least very simple one. We can provide puzzles of the text and students need to work with the puzzles of the text, like text lips we can provide. So instead of all students completing a writing assignment, UDL might offer options such as creating a video, drawing a comic strip, or presenting orally. So students can show their own interest, desire, how they want to do specific task. Also, they need to be allowed to do that. So strategies for engagement, professional equipment. This is really important part. If we are equipped well as the teachers with our handouts, technology, classroom, all things. Then jobs, we can create authentic classroom jobs. So what is that? We can make one student, when we assign the jobs, one student is responsible for delivering your handouts when you start your lesson. One student, or we can have jobs within the group, specific groups, like 4 or 5 groups of students within a class. If we have 20, 25 students, then one is responsible that everyone is during the classroom or during the activity that they are active. Another one is responsible for if everyone does the homework. So creating, it's up to you how you create that authentic classroom jobs. If you do that, actually, when I just started to apply it in my classrooms, I saw that my students, they gain more confidence and they feel more connected with me. And they have that desire to continue learning and grow. Why? Because they feel that they are being recognized by me. They are seen by me. No one is left behind. And they have that feeling like, oh, teacher relies on me. Teacher gives this kind of role responsibility to me. I need to do that. Even the students who misbehave, they start to see it really. They start to take it really seriously. Organized classroom, it's really important. So for example, I always have organized structure of the lesson design. I have my lesson design and I wrote it in my notebook, and always according to the minutes, like I just divide those 45 minutes into parts and I follow those steps. And students also need to know at the beginning, I say, like, I introduce, today we have this topic. During the process, during the lesson, we will learn about this. We will have later this kind of explanation and this kind of activity or group activity. So at the end of the lesson, you will learn what is this. Interactive whiteboards, smart boards, they are really universal because visual, auditory, tactile, it's really important tool. And here we have also tactile activities, which we shouldn't neglect for our students, because as I said before, we have students who need to feel, who need to touch them, what they do. And bag of writing ideas. Sometimes I see, again, in my experience, that most of the time, due to the curriculum or due to the, again, to finish the topics before the term, before the end of the term, writing skill is a bit like neglected or ignored. And or the young generation, they are not so much into writing. They are not interested in that. So how can we do that? First of all, we can ask their own wish or desire or their own topics to write, bag of writing ideas. So you can get a kind of box or bag, and you can make them least favorite things and write about them. Or we can ask them, okay, write the topic that you are interested in. If the student goes to outdoor activities like sports, they can write sport or my favorite sport. Another one, my favorite movie. Another one, okay, astronomy. So whatever they are interested in, we can collect. And after that, we just have those bag of writing ideas, and we can do in different ways. They can pick up from that bag of writing ideas the topic, or they choose themselves. So that independence, autonomous, actually, we give to them. And they, when we apply this method, they see, they have a feeling like, oh, I can decide what topic should I write. So now they start to write. They decide, and this is output. Games, yes, it's cooperative learning. It's really important. Then grouping, using various grouping. So for example, when I group, I just, if I have again 20 students, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4 students, they just say 1, the next student 2, the next student 3. Then once the numbers 1, they gather in one corner, the numbers 2, they gather in one corner. Or we can use another method. Again, maybe you are already applying different group methods, just feel free to share in the chat. Then input through classroom engagement. So 10 to 10 2. Theory prevents overload of short-term memory. As we already know, actually, the brain has short-term memory and long-term memory. And short-term memory of especially Generation Alpha that we are teaching at our schools, who were born in 2010 until 2024. So those students, they have a bit shorter attention span. And this is another way of my research, another topic that I'm really engaged last 2 years. So if we explain, for example, our topic at least for 10 minutes, and after that, if we give them 2 minutes to digest that, so to think about it, actually, we prevent from overwhelming. How can we do? For example, present perfect continuous, they are learning. We explained in a various ways, 10 minutes. Okay. After that, we can ask our students, now with your peers on the desk who you are sitting together, please make a sentence or write a kind of question sentence or ask each other questions using present perfect continuous. So this is output. At the same time, simultaneously, while they're listening, after 10 minutes, for 2 minutes, they practice it. And they say, oh, I could understand. Or if they couldn't understand, another peer, actually, it is also easing our job. Another peer can help, because most of the time when I use this method, I witnessed that, okay, one student in the group, while they're working together, couldn't understand really well, but when pair starts to work or share about using this grammar topic in a sentence, then the second one can ask a question and they help each other. This is collaborative learning. Note-taking, peer-mediated instruction. This is also, we can apply to 10-2 theory. And graphic organizers, timers, we can use outputs through classroom engagement, so classroom management and engagement. This is integrative movement, prevents overload of short-term memory. Integrative movement, sometimes actually, or usually I try to have a kind of activity that involves movement during the lesson. Yes, for 5 or 3 minutes. Why? Because just making them listen to you or just in a sitting position, making them work can be tiring. Just imagine yourself also when we attend to a kind of long conferences or seminars, we feel a bit bored because brain, this is willingly, unwillingly starts to lose focus after some time. When we involve this kind of, and we can consider it as a kind of brain teaser. So again, activity, but this is, it involves movement. For example, we can say yes or no, and we can have a kind of statements. We just make all of them stand up. Different kinds of movement activities we can involve. Just I'm giving the one that I just do usually. Like we divide the students. Like the students, they are gathered in one corner. I say I like watching, let's say, movies. The other part, I like reading books. So the ones who like watching the movies, they go to one corner. Who like reading the books, they go to another corner. So with that, they just have a kind of movement in their body. And again, brain, after that, when we continue, the brain just feels refreshed, updated. Then we can use photo essays. It fosters engagement. Sometimes students, again, as we said, writing can be challenging. So we can ask our students, take your selfie. They like selfie, young generation now. They really like taking selfies or taking photos. So take your photo from early morning till late night. Then you can just write about your daily routine. Then mixed freeze pairs, Socratic seminars. So these activities can be used. Testing, retesting also. And I've finished my presentation. If you have any questions, please feel free to share.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you so much, Bahar. It was great, amazing presentation from you. Yes, we have I think some questions. Let me address it to you. So it's the I can see it's the name of the device, Galaxy M14 5G, asks you, how can we reduce fear and increase participation?
So I have this kind of students who are extremely shy or embarrassed. So what I do is I find a person or student in my class who is willing to help, and I make them work together in a group. And they start to be a kind of my assistant. And I ask those students who are performing high, like, please be my